Welcome to the HR Tech Spotlight Podcast. I'm Deanna Shimoda, CEO of Growth Mode Marketing. The HR technology market is crowded, and we know it can be hard to find the best software solutions for your business in the sea of sameness. On this podcast, we shine a spotlight on some of the best up-and-coming technology options out there. Check it out if you are interested in learning about new innovative solutions available in the market. And if you are with an HR tech company and interested in being considered for a guest spot, stay tuned for details at the end of the show. Welcome to the HR Tech Spotlight. My guest for this episode is Logan Mallory, Vice President of Marketing at Motivosity, an employee recognition and engagement platform that helps team members feel appreciated and connected at work. We'll be digging in to see how the Motivosity platform drives results by connecting employees to each other and to the business, making visible all the great work a company's team members are doing. Hello, Logan.
Good afternoon. I am really glad to be here with you today. Thanks for letting me hang out.
Of course, I am happy to have you. So tell us, Logan, about your background in the HR tech space.
Yeah, my background in HR has really flourished well with Motivosity. Motivosity is an employee experience platform, and we can talk about that. But I have just spent every day for the last 3 years really deep in HR tech, understanding where we fit, the needs of HR. A lot of where that's come from is actually at events. I travel to events and speak with thousands of HR business partners and HR leaders and people leaders. And that's really given me a powerful insight into all of the problems that group is up against. And it's a lot of problems.
I hear you. So let's talk a bit more about what Motivosity does.
Yeah, for sure. Motivosity is an employee experience platform. And at our very heart, we help organizations build winning cultures. And we do that by focusing a lot on community and connection. When your team members are collaborative because they feel connected, they're more productive, they're more efficient, they're happier at work, they stay longer. And so Motivosity has built a platform that really focuses on that. We do that a couple of ways, but primarily we do that through a social intranet that connects team members, helps them understand where they are within the organization, also creates a really fun and engaging place with different ways to build those connections. So it kind of becomes this social heartbeat, this cultural heartbeat of the organization. The other half of that we really fulfill on is recognition and rewards software, and those are one unified platform. People these days, they want to be seen, they want to know that their work matters, and so that recognition part's really crucial. It's interesting. We did a survey not too long ago of 2,000 people, and 75% of them said their mental health would improve if they were recognized at work more often. And so this idea of having people that are engaged and better team members because they're happy at work, recognition plays a huge part in that.
That makes sense. I mean, I can tell you as someone who has managed and hired many people over the years, it's amazing sometimes what a simple thank you and recognition does for people to feel valued for an organization, for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me, yeah, absolutely. What would you say is a big challenge or problem that you see facing HR departments today?
Yeah, I think it's very similar to my last answer. I think HR departments, they feel the consequences of disconnection, right? There's disconnected people in the office, and part of that is remote work. Part of that is literally because of geography, and you're hiring people that you've never met in person and you don't get to see at the water cooler. So there is certainly this element of like physical disconnection, which causes other problems within organizations. But also, we just as kind of a society and as a group of humans, we're connecting less than we ever have before. I saw a stat the other day, and this one I'm quoting roughly, so I hope no one in your audience gets mad at me for being off by a few points. But it essentially said in any given week, humans are spending 24 less hours in social interactions than we were 4 or 5 years ago. Right. And so we just spend less time connecting as people, and that impacts us. It hurts our mental health. It hurts our ability to collaborate. It hurts our the possibilities around like brainstorming and problem solving. And so though HR people might not say, man, disconnection is the problem we're up against, I really see it as the problem that causes other problems, right? It is harder to have positive relationships with your manager, and it's harder to be more efficient when there is a sense of disconnection in the office.
So how does Motivosity support better connections across teammates and employees in an organization?
Yeah, absolutely. The kind of high level answer is that we solve a lot of like visibility and communication issues, but not in the boring corporate way that you're used to thinking about it, right? Normally, when we talk about like an intranet, we think of the place that you can go to log into everything, right? This is where I go to the intranet to get my open enrollment information and to find my 401k because I want to update it, or to change my health insurance because I had a new kid, right? Like that's kind of what intranets have historically been. It's kind of been the central place for kind of boring corporate stuff. And Motivosity is a social intranet. So for sure, we help with the communication and helping people go to the right spot, but it is also a social focus. So people get to know where their team members are within the organization. We do personality profiles so that I can say, you know what, I have this coworker I've never met and I have to have a meeting with them. What is my personality style and their personality style? And therefore, how should we work together? We bring awards and achievements. So if you want to do serious things like employee referral bonuses or incentivizing your team members to go leave a review on Glassdoor, or you want to do wellness challenges, those are in Motivosity. If you want to do something more fun, like you're about to have a Halloween costume competition, or you want to do March Madness and create a March Madness bracket throughout your office, Motivosity is the place where those things become possible. And so we work very hard to let people bring the human side to work, not just the work side to work.
So, I mean, you and I both know the HR tech space, there are a lot of options out there and a lot of different technologies to help solve many of the problems out there. What
For
would you
sure.
say is like the unique point of view in the market for Motivosity or the competitive differentiation that people should really pay attention to?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of things. One, we're not trying to replace an HRIS. We're not trying to be your HRIS, and frankly, no one wants to go there, right? Your employees don't go there unless they want to update or check their payroll. Where we stand out is we are a platform that really draws your team members in. Part of that is because we put your rewards there, right? So instead of having a desk full of gift cards that you give out every once in a while for rewards, if you put that into a platform, then that brings people to that platform. An example of that, I was with, it's been a few months, I was in Indianapolis. We were having a dinner at an event, and we just invited some customers and some friends of Motivosity and some prospects. And while I was at dinner, I was sitting across the table from a gentleman named Jason. Jason ran Motivosity for a 1,400 person healthcare organization. And when he was introducing himself, he said, Motivosity is my most used platform in the organization. And because of that, I'm trying to get all of my other initiatives and activities into Motivosity because that's where my people's eyes are, right? And I think in HR, it's hard. You're running campaigns. You're saying, hey, we need to do our annual survey. Please get in, log in, get into this tool. Or you want people to go do their performance reviews. And you say, please log in, use this extra tool. Motivosity puts those jobs to be done in a platform that, frankly, your people really like. One other thing that I would say makes us very different, and this is more on the recognition and the reward side. most of the time when companies think about rewards, they limit themselves to gift cards, right? Maybe they think about swag. One thing that Motivosity has done that's very different is we've actually released what we call the Thanks Matters Visa. And the Thanks Matters Visa is literally a physical Visa card that's tied to your rewards in real time. So instead of having to pick from gift cards, I can go use this to pay for gas when it's expensive. I can use it to pay for my kids' copay at their doctor's visit. I could take my wife out to dinner. Instead of being limited to gift cards or swag or a plaque for my anniversary at work, I get to choose to be rewarded how I want to be. And we find that opening up that flexibility, just giving people literally anywhere Visa is accepted, you can use your Motivosity rewards. People love that. The users go crazy over that, having any option they want.
What do you typically recommend as an organization when you bring a new client on and they're implementing Motivosity for a budget for the rewards and the recognition?
Yeah, actually, and this might be helpful. If you go to motivosity.com/pricing, we put in a rewards calculator. And so you can look at costs of the platform, but beyond that, you can say, hey, what are the things that I need to provide to my team members? So I have a couple different answers to that, and it's gonna feel like a half answer, right? It's gonna feel like a half answer. One of the things that we believe really passionately about is that you should recruit all of your team members to be involved in recognition, and not just your executives. I won't go on about this theory for too long, but there's this theory called the iceberg of ignorance. And the idea is the higher you are in the organization as far as management, the less you know about what's happening at the bottom of the company, right? You don't know as much about the drama. You don't know as much about the politics or the frustrations or the broken systems. And that same thing can be true on the positive side of companies. If you're an executive, even of a 30 or 40 or 50 person company, you don't know all of the positive things happening throughout the company. And so we recommend that organizations solve that with peer-to-peer giving. So we typically, the average Motivosity customer gives every employee $5 a month, and they can only use those dollars to say thank you to someone else. They can only use them to recognize the good things going on. So you're going to be at $5 or so per user per month. That's for giving. Typically, we see people do between $25 and $50 for both an anniversary and then for a birthday. And then the other thing is there's typically dollars given out in Employee Appreciation Day, which I believe is in March, and then around Christmas or the holidays. And those are typically somewhere between 50 and 100. And so I think that you're looking at $200 or $250 there per employee per year. And the reality is you're already giving them those dollars in some way. Again, it's in the gift cards in the drawer. It's in the MVP award. It's the pizza parties that you throw randomly. Like, you're already doing that. And so why not put it into one platform? We just had a conversation with a gentleman named Ray. He's a CFO. He's brought Motivosity to his last 4 companies. And wow. He was telling us the story, and he said all CFOs know that these rewards programs are going on. And when you put it into Motivosity, you get 2 things. 1, you get a better culture and happier employees. And 2, you get visibility around your rewards programs and the impact that you've never had before.
Let's talk about that impact. What have you seen organizations that work with Motivosity experience from a metric standpoint?
Yeah, one of my favorite statistics is about turnover. The national turnover rate is somewhere between 22% and 24%, depending on which year you look at. Motivosity customers have a turnover rate that's at least 33% less. We're typically in the 14 to 15% turnover rate. And so when you look at that and say, man, Motivosity users have lower turnover than the national engagement, that is massive. That is such a big impact. We were looking at some statistics the other day about CEOs and CEOs that leverage Motivosity, and you could also just look at that as executives that care about engagement and recognition. So when a CEO is active in Motivosity versus a company that there's two different ways to compare that. A CEO that's active in Motivosity versus a CEO that's not active in Motivosity versus a CEO or a company that doesn't have Motivosity at all. Active CEOs have a 4x higher employee net promoter score than passive CEOs, right? So when your leadership does get involved, it completely changes how your team members feel. Their net promoter score goes up significantly. Active CEOs have a 3x the number of employees saying that they're willing to stay at the company, even if they were offered a 10% raise, right? And so it really does, Motivosity changes things. And then when your leadership is engaged, it changes things even further.
Really does point to the fact that thanks matters, right?
Thanks matters. You got it. That's right. You know, I have this funny story I like to tell. When I was newer to Motivosity, I had been here for just a little bit, but you know, was still getting my feet wet. And I still have consistent one-on-ones with Scott Johnson, who's the founder of our company. And one-on-ones with your CEO can be a little nerve-wracking, right? Even if you're doing well, it's easy to get nervous and think, am I doing enough? Am I doing what I need to? And I left the meeting with Scott, and I got back to my desk, and my mobile app, my phone and my desktop lit up with a notification from Motivosity. And right after our one-on-one, he had sent me a recognition. And I opened it up, and it had a picture of like the Justice League in it. It had like the Flash and Wonder Woman. And the recognition said, Logan, I love where you're taking marketing at Motivosity. It's like we're the new Justice League. And I kind of like sat and I like looked off at the corner of the room, and I was like, I am the Batman of marketing, right? And like totally, like it's been almost 3 years since that happened, and I still tell that story. I told my family, my team members saw it. That recognition, that thanks, was worth more than any gift card that ever could have been put on my desk, right? And so you're spot on, and I wore this t-shirt for a reason. That concept that thanks matters is really important to our approach to recognition and rewards.
I love it. So who would you say from a company perspective is a perfect fit for your solution?
Yeah. Listen, the first answer is we work with companies as small as 10 employees, and we work with some of the largest institutions in the world. Typically our very sweet spot, like where we are just perfect. If you've got 75 to 750 employees, we're going to be amazing for you. Again, one of the things that we look for is, will connection help your organization, right? And so if building connection between team members is important to you, then we are a great solution. We play extremely well in organizations that have customer-focused, customer-centric attitudes. So think about credit unions, right? Your credit union experience is based off of your, if you have happy employees, you're going to have happier credit union members. Healthcare, SaaS companies, right? And so we play really well in service-oriented organizations because we help make your employees happier, which has a direct impact on your customers or the people engaging with your organization.
What is the future vision for Motivosity?
The future vision for Motivosity. I think, again, a couple different answers there. The first one is we hope that we bring a lot of happiness to employees, right? We want people to be happier at work. And that happens when they're recognized and when they feel connected. I expect that our platform gets more robust and solves more people problems in one place. One of the things we hear a lot is, man, we don't want another place for our employees to have to log in, right? We don't want another login or another tool for our users. And what's funny is at first, people see Motivosity as an extra login. Once they have Motivosity, they see everything else as the extra login and they want to put it into Motivosity. And so I think kind of this consolidation play is really important. And then the last thing, and your users might not care about this, we hope that this is your audience might not care about this. We really hope that this is like the highlight of our employees' career. We hope that people that come through Motivosity's doors are better employees, they're better people, that they've had this like really great experience. One of the things that we focus on a lot here is how do we make this one of the most powerful parts of our team members' careers? And we want to be successful in a lot of ways, but if we can be successful in that way, that will be meaningful.
Well said. What final thoughts do you want to leave our audience with?
I would just reemphasize, swag is great. It's nice to get a t-shirt on your desk once in a while. I'm wearing my Motivosity hat today. I wear it a lot. But my swag doesn't get me out of bed on Monday mornings, and it doesn't make me a better team player, right? Giving people stuff has a very short shelf life on how it impacts your workplace and your culture. If you give people stuff, eventually they just expect it. If you recognize people in a sincere and timely and specific way, having a culture of gratitude will completely change your organization. And so we hope when you're thinking about that you don't settle for just giving your people trophies or swag. We hope you'll let Motivosity show others and show you that it is the thanks that matters.
Excellent. Thanks, Logan. I appreciate you coming on as a guest. My last question for you, where can our listeners go to learn more about Motivosity and connect with you?
Yeah, Motivosity is easy to find. If you Google Motivosity, we'll show up. And we also spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, and so we're easy to find there. I hope your audience will reach out to me. It's a really small world and we need all the friends that we can get. And so I hope they'll connect with me on LinkedIn. I spend a lot, in fact, too much time on LinkedIn with thought leadership and posts. I hope that if someone listening has a job that they want to share, or if they have questions about HR, culture and leadership development and creating community, I hope they'll connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'm really happy to be a resource. One final thing, I'm doing a lot of speaking these days. I'm traveling both for Motivosity and for Logan Mallory as a professional speaker. And if your organization is looking for someone that can come and have an impact on a keynote, I hope we could have a discussion there and another way that we can bring value to your organization.
Excellent. Thanks, Logan. And I'll be sure to put the links in the show notes for those that want to check out Motivosity and connect directly with Logan. For those listening, be sure to tune in again next time to the HR Tech Spotlight to learn about another innovative HR technology making its mark in the industry. Thanks for listening to this episode of the HR Tech Spotlight podcast, where we showcase some of the best up-and-coming HR technology options in the market. If you are an HR tech company leader who would like to be considered for a guest spot on this program, please contact me via growthmodemarketing.com or reach out to me, Deanna Shimoda, on LinkedIn. And if you found this show informative, subscribe, connect with us on social media, and leave a review. This is Deanna with Growth Mode Marketing signing off. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll tune in again next time.